I would describe food insecurity as not being sure when or how you're going to acquire your next meal. I've definitely gone to class hungry a couple times just to save some money.
Books every quarter were hundreds and hundreds of dollars for one textbook. That cuts into your food costs. Absolutely.
Do you feel like it directly cut into your food costs?
Absolutely.
More than any other resource.
Absolutely. When you have to pay for a book in order to pass a class, that directly impacts your life. Whereas food, you can, that's where you cut the costs is with food, because you know you can buy a cheaper option off the dollar menu, even though it's at a greater impact to your health. But you need to pass the class and you choose to buy the books instead.
Are there any costs that directly affect your food costs negatively or positively at UCSD? Such as costs for school, so like tuitions, pencils, books, paper.
Oh yeah, that's definitely it's definitely an impact, because it's going to affect how you spend everything else, because you got a budget to prepare for the tuition, like the $4,000 you got to pay for this winter tuition coming up. So you always got to figure out how you're going to not spend that much on food so you can spend it on class, you know? You got to figure out how you spend your money.
Our data found a correlation between respondents reporting that their grades and studying has caused their food insecurity and time constraints from schoolwork leading to food insecurity.
I hope for the best, but it is disheartening that education could be one of the reasons that people deprive themselves of food.
It has changed how I feel about myself.
Having to choose between eating lunch or dinner because you can't afford to eat both creates a very significant extra burden on students who are already stressed.
I lost weight. I have an unhealthy life.
Other people feel bad or they try to help me.
I can't do normal things when I'm hungry.
Food insecurity can be tough because food is a popular social activity, so having these food insecurities adds stressful pressures to people.
Learning is a mental job that requires you to be fully functional, aware, cognizant, and alert. An effect of hunger could be lack of concentration and not learning to the best potential. This affects student test scores and learning outcomes.
I played water polo at community college before this, so that would suck because then I'd show up to practice a little bit hungry, and now it's kind of like I'm not really playing a sport anymore, but even studying gets affected. Don't want to study, you're tired, take a nap maybe, because you're not hungry, because you're hungry, you don't have energy.
Students understand that their human capital is negatively affected by food insecurity. But they know that education has a greater gain in human capital than the loss from skipping a meal. Despite these gains in human capital from higher education, students underestimate the significance of skipping a meal. Lower performance and lower concentration leads to a lesser quality of education. When one is hungry and has no energy, they aren't learning the material that grants them the human capital.
Another form of capital that is affected by food insecurity is social capital. The social capital theory assumes that people in different social classes have different levels of social capital, such as resources, money, education, and health, that both directly and indirectly affect a person's quality of life, growth within society, and ability to progress through social classes. One of the characteristics of inequality is that it is self-reproducing. Those who have will have more in the future. Those who do not have cannot accumulate wealth. If one's resource is social capital, and that resource can be accumulated and reproduced, the lack of food security will have a continuous effect on the life of the individual. We found that 62% of people who have experienced food insecurity before coming to UCSD continue to experience it in college, and 66% of people who have not experienced food insecurity before coming to UCSD continue to not experience it.
Our survey found that 50% of people think that food insecurity is not common on UCSD's campus, but in reality, we found that 35% of students experience food insecurity. Food insecurity is a big issue on campus, and yet so many people are unaware of it. In order to address the issue, it needs more awareness.
The Food Access and Security Subcommittee has developed an action plan designed to address food insecurity across the university system, which includes developing on-campus student services and programming. One such on-campus service is the Food Recovery Network, which is designed to be a bridge between food waste and food insecurity. The Food Recovery Network redirects food that otherwise would be wasted to those in need. Another is the Triton Food Pantry. The mission of the Triton Food Pantry is to provide a discreet service to UCSD students in need of food. The goal is to ensure that every student has enough energy to get through the day and that no student needs to give up a single meal for any reason. Many students were not aware of the existence of the Triton Food Pantry.
Did you know that there was a food pantry on UCSD campus when you were attending UCSD?
No, I had no idea.
Were you aware of the food pantry that was on campus that
No.
provided food resources to people with food insecurities?
No.
Did you know that there's a food pantry on campus?
I actually did randomly stumble upon it, but I think you could definitely improve the way how it's out there, because I understand there's a point system or something about how students can get some free items on campus. I personally haven't used it, but at times I feel like I should have.
Why is the awareness of food insecurity important?
The concept is not new, but recently has been a huge phenomenon many colleges are looking at, and many people want to get involved to make a difference. It is time to change the narrative of the poor college student that is supposed to suffer and eat ramen in order to make it. I do not believe in that concept at all, and with the appropriate awareness, we can lead to discussion on basic needs as a whole across the UC system.
What could be changed to improve the food pantry and issues of food insecurity on campus?
The Triton Food Pantry may be improved through sustainable funding in order to keep and improve the current services we offer. Through donations, food drives, and programming efforts, the work of the Triton Food Pantry may continue to assist students and future students who may need the resource. In regards to food insecurity efforts on campus, there are various ways students, staff, and faculty may assist in eliminating food insecurity campus-wide. For instance, raising awareness and having conversations about food insecurity and identifying the different action plans every person can do is fundamental to ensuring food security on campus.
The topic of food insecurity is incredibly important and relevant because it is one of the many issues with higher education that perpetuates inequality in society. When high costs prevent access to higher education, individuals with low incomes struggle to find well-paying jobs and continue to live with lower incomes, thus perpetuating inequality.
On a societal level, students that have food security can obtain a socially optimal education. Students can then break through the barriers of inequality in society by obtaining social mobility and advancing their social class, leading to better opportunities in the future. With more social mobility, the inequality gap in our society has the opportunity to shrink.